What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got for you a crazy story from Best of Redditor updates with quite a lot of updates to it and, of course, a conclusion, which you are going to love. There are, let me just count this through, I think at least 8 updates, including one big juicy final update. So stay tuned right to the end to see what happens at the end of this story. Without further ado, sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you don't miss any stories like this in the future. How about this for a title? I am a 26-year-old man and I've been with my 25-year-old wife for 5 years. I've just seen what looks to be a picture of my wife on my friend's phone. The picture was nude. Now this was originally posted to Today I F'd Up on January the 13th, 2016, with the title, Today I F'd Up by Looking at My Friend's Phone. Yeah, seeing a photo of your wife naked on your friend's phone, that's pretty bad. We were sitting on the couch, drinking a few beers, watching DVR reruns of The Twilight Zone. It's my day off, and my friend got kicked out of his house about a month ago by his girlfriend. As far as I know, he did nothing wrong. Okay, red flag immediately there. He's been sleeping in a hotel, and my wife and I offered to let him stay at our apartment for a few weeks until he can find a place of his own. Anyway, we are sitting on the couch, and he runs out of beer and gets up to go to my kitchen to get another. He puts his phone face down on the couch. Now, I shouldn't have, but I picked it up to look at it. He was looking at a picture of my wife naked. I'm almost certain it's her. I got really uncomfortable at the thought that he's browsing his phone looking at a picture of my wife naked right freaking next to me. I quickly put down the phone where he had it and I locked the screen to be safe. When he came back, I went to my bedroom to type this. Guys, what do I do? Tons of thoughts are swimming through my head. Please help. I don't want to do anything I regret. Wow, he's literally, in this moment, just written this. Can you imagine being in that position? I don't even know what I would suggest. Goodness me. Let's get straight into the edit though. He said, I've been advised to keep quiet until I know without a doubt he has a nude picture of my wife on his phone. I need to see it again to be certain. I don't know how to do that though. I think that's good advice because you wouldn't want to make a huge scene confessing that you have had a look at your friend's phone without him letting you and it isn't actually your wife. That would be pretty bad, so I agree. You need to find a way to ensure that it 100% is her. But then again, you know, if it is her, you need to know. So maybe that's the best thing to do is just confront immediately. Anyway, there's some more stuff to know before we get into the first update. I told my wife that my friend, our mutual friend, has been staying in a hotel for a few weeks after he got kicked out. We both decided to let him stay here for a few weeks until he gets a new place. I didn't get a long enough look at the picture to say whether or not it's my wife with 100% certainty. There was no face in the picture. I do not want to go around throwing out accusations. Okay, so that is the situation. Very, very tough. Immediately, what would you say? Comments down below. I'm not sure. I think if there's any sort of potential that you think that it's your wife, I feel like that's more important than betraying your friend's trust and admitting that you've gone on his phone and had a look. Like, you can get over that if it isn't your wife. But if it is your wife, you have to know. Anyway, let's see what OP did. And let's get into the first of 8 updates. My wife will be home from work in an hour 45. My friend is currently working on something in the room he's staying in. Not sure what. I'm in my room, reading the comments on this post. I'm going to text my wife something mundane and see if she responds. I'm not going to bring anything up. I just want to see if she'll say something back. I'm thinking of a few excuses to see my friend's phone. If you have a good one, let me know. To be fair, there are probably loads. Okay, update 2. I was given the idea to tell him I can't find my phone and ask him to call it. He was reluctant about letting me use his phone. That's where I'm worried. If he has nothing to hide, why won't he let me see the phone? I don't know, maybe he's really protective. He said, just walk around the apartment and I'll keep calling it until you find it. I didn't want him to think I was suspicious, so I agreed. I told him I found it and ended it there. He's going to work soon, so I need to get to his phone soon. Update 3. My friend has gone to work. Wife will be home in 15-20 minutes. Still haven't been able to see the picture. Should I ask my wife anything when she gets home? She didn't respond to my mundane texts. I forgot to mention that. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so at this stage. I don't think so. Because if it is your wife on your friend's phone, like, you have no idea how that photo has ended up there. I don't want to think of the worst, but my mind's going to that. And you want to, again, probably be 100% sure that you know exactly what's going on before doing something that is potentially quite destructive. I know I'm sort of going back and forth there. I'm not 100% sure myself, but I'm trying to think what would the logical thing be to do in that situation versus what I think I would do, which would be like, I need to know now. And I think I'd probably deal with the fallout afterwards. Let me know down below. Actually put yourself, like, you have to genuinely put yourself in OP's shoes. What would you do? Okay, now for the fourth update. For those wondering, from what I remember, the picture was a woman presumably laying down with her shirt open. She had large breasts, which my wife also does. That's all I remember, because after I picked it up, I got a sick feeling in my stomach and I locked it. Then I put it down. If I could see it again, I could pinpoint for sure if it's her or not. Now, on to the update. She left her phone at work. I'm worried. This has got my head spinning in all sorts of ways. I prodded just a bit and I asked why she left it, and she said she just forgot. Guys, holy heck, I'm nervous. My friend is at work. I can't check his phone. My wife's phone is at work. Frick. I don't know what to do. I'm going to stay as calm as possible and not give anything away. Is this a sign she's hiding something? I really don't want to assume the worst. I just need to calm down for a bit. Dang it, I'm craving some Vicodin again. I used to be addicted to it and the urge is back, but I know I can't do it. Just to be safe, I called her phone and it did ring the full 30 seconds or so. I'm trying to slyly deduce what is going on. I'll update when I have more. Let's get straight into that next update. Update 5. My wife is going to the gym. She'll be back in an hour. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm going behind her back. I love this woman to death and I don't know what I'd do without her. I keep being told to confront my wife or confront my friend. Which should I do? I'm not going to accuse them at all. That would be wrong. So I might just let this play out little by little. I'm still not sure. I think... it's so tough. Again, I'm actually really interested to see the comments here. I think I'd have no choice personally but to confront one of them. Probably your friend. I think I just have to. Update 6. Final update for tonight. So far, my post has been removed several times and I promised I would tell you guys what was going on. My wife hasn't come home from the gym yet. Still no phone. I'm angry. I'm very stressed. I'm going to bed, guys. I hope I haven't failed you people. Please don't hate me. If there's one thing... Well, first of all, I don't hate you. No worries about that. Secondly, if there's one thing that I know I wouldn't be able to do right now if I was in your shoes, it would be to go to sleep. Like, I'd have to find out something before being able to rest. I know that for sure. Okay, update 7. Next day now. So, last night I had a pretty mean headache. I get them when I'm really stressed. And I decided to call it a night. My wife got home soon after and walked into our room. When she turned the light on, she saw me laying down. She apologized and turned the light back off and asked me why I was laying down. I just told her I was stressed, and she sat down on the bed next to me and asked me what was up. I just said, you know, work, and left it there. She said, okay, then kissed me on the forehead and asked me if I needed anything, and I just told her I was alright, and I fell asleep not too long after our conversation. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was having trouble sleeping, yeah, I'm not surprised, and I walked into the living room. On the balcony was my friend having a smoke, and I started feeling really angry, and I wanted to go out there and confront him, but I knew I needed to stay calm. I walked out onto the balcony and we made small talk for a bit while he finished his cigarette. It was silent for a bit, and I asked him, why were you kicked out of your girlfriend's house? Like, I told you before, dude, I'm really not sure. She just did, you know? I didn't do anything, he replied. It felt like such a lie. I just really wasn't thinking about it the first time. I'm sure he's hiding something. He said it with such a disregard for the question, kind of like when your parents would catch you doing something and they'd ask you what was going on and you would say, nothing. We said our goodbyes exactly like that. I didn't question him any further for fear he might think I was trying to get something out of him. We talked for a bit longer about nothing important. I told him I was still pretty tired, so I wanted to go back to sleep. He said goodnight and I went back to bed. I couldn't sleep though. I was tossing and turning, troubled by the thought of something being up. I got up a while later to go to the gym. From there, I go to work, and I had an idea. I was going to sneak into his room and get his phone and look at it. The only problem being his door was locked. I went to the gym, but didn't do much because I felt so discouraged. I got to work, where I currently am now, and decided I would use the advice I was given and check the message history through our service provider. That was tough to do because I had trouble remembering our account info, but I got it all sorted. When I looked at the message logs, I felt like, again, I'm betraying my wife. So I texted her. No answer. She must have not have gotten her phone yet. I waited a while until I felt my phone vibrates. She said, "Sorry babe, got my phone back. What's up?" I replied, "I just wanted to see how you were doing. Sorry we didn't talk last night. I was really stressed." "It's okay." Kissing emoji, she sent. I do have a question though. Do you know why our friend was kicked out of his ex's house? No response. And that was a few hours ago too. So I'm still waiting, hoping that she'll answer because I'm having a bit of an anxiety attack. I gave in and I checked the phone logs. There were a bunch of messages back and forth between her and myself, her and her mother, her and a few of her friends, and lastly, her and the guy who was staying with us. Nothing incriminating. Only her asking him if he wanted her to pick up something for dinner, which she also sent to me. So honestly guys, nothing major yet. I'll update if she texts back and if I have more to tell. I have a few more ideas of stuff I can do, but like I said, I'm not going to accuse until I have absolute proof. I still do not think my wife is cheating. I just want to know what's going on. I get off work in about an hour. Okay, so that was the 7th update. And I've got to say, at this stage, I really don't know. It does feel like your wife is innocent, but I've read far too many of these stories to actually think that that is the case, to be honest. One thing, though, I am interested in is I didn't know about like the chat logs, message logs, call logs on your whatever it's called on your service. Can you actually do that? Could I do that? Like go to my internet service provider, or I don't know how it would work, and actually see like messages? Is that an actual thing? Let me know in the comments down below if you know. Anyway, 4 days later, we got the final update. Now this is a big one and it's juicy. So lock in. Let me start off by apologizing for taking so long to finally write this post. When poop hits the fan, it gets everywhere and it takes a while to clean up. So thank you all for your patience. That doesn't sound good. Alright, after my last update, I headed home. I was finally going to man up and ask my friend about what I saw on his phone. When I walked in the front door, put my stuff down and headed towards my room, I walked past the bathroom and I heard the shower. I figured he was in it, so I was going to wait for him. I went into his room, and right frickin' there on the bed next to his bag and jacket was his frickin' phone. My stomach dropped again because I knew there was no going back. I was going to pick up his phone and figure out what is going on once and for all. His phone had a passcode on it, but that was really easy to guess. I tried the 1234, then the reverse, and after about 4 or so guesses, it turned out to be the year he was born. Anyway, I went to his photo reel and opened it. I scrolled through a few pics of different things, and then I finally landed on it. Frick. I recognized the shirt and the room it was taken in. She took it. That is a picture that she took here in our apartment of her upper body. That was my wife, and my friend had the picture of her on his phone. I got really, really angry. I couldn't hold it back, and I walked over to the door of the bathroom and started banging on it like a madman. I'm yelling his name, telling him to get out here. The water goes off, and he's yelling out to me, asking what I want, and I kept saying over and over to open the dang door. He finally does, and he's putting on his pants. What the F do you want, man? I'm getting ready for work. That's when I dropped the question. Why the heck do you have a naked picture of my freaking wife on your phone? His eyes were huge, and he just started stammering, so I asked him again, but with more force. Why the F do you have a naked picture of my wife on your phone? He was trying to speak, but he kept stuttering and put up his hands to try and calm me down. I wasn't going to hit him, but man, I really wanted to. He just kept saying, wait, over and over. He gained his composure, and I swear to God, he says, I know you're mad. I cut him off, yelling, no trash, at the top of my lungs. Did my wife send you this? I asked over and over. I was just so incredibly angry. He finally tells me, no, and explains what happened. This scumbag piece of trash stole the freaking picture from my goddamn phone. I don't even know how, but apparently iCloud does BS like this where it stores your photos even after being deleted. Which reminds me, how do I disable that and get rid of the pictures? Anyway, he went to my phone and sent it to himself, then deleted the message. I can't believe I freaking missed it when I read the phone thing. I didn't even think my texts would be relevant, so I ignored them. I asked him if he had any more, and he swore to God he didn't. He only had the one, and he wasn't going to do anything with it. Well, not anymore. I deleted it. Yeah, but he could have made copies, you never know. He started apologizing over and over, and well, I didn't give an F. I told him to leave, to get all of his stuff and leave, and that I didn't want to see him again. If he came back, he'd regret it. Different stuff like that. I text my wife I needed to talk to her ASAP, but she again didn't respond, which is because her phone was dead, not because she was hiding something. My wife got home like 45 minutes or so after the son of a female dog left, and when she got in, I calmly asked if I could talk to her. She said yes, and then asked if she could plug in her phone real quick since it died at work. She didn't take long, and it gave me enough time to think of what I wanted to say clearly. She came in, sat down, and I started talking. Actually, you know what? F it. His name is Hayden. F that dude. I don't care enough to keep his name safe. Wow, we very rarely see that on this. And that's very interesting because earlier I actually saw a clip of a comedian who was talking about being bullied in school. And she also, she like was gonna not say the name of her bully, but then she just said the full name. I don't mind this at all. Like, out these people. If they've done something as bad as they have, then out them. Sometimes I'm like, well, yeah, you can censor their name and I get it for like privacy reasons, but out them. So I respect this OP. Thank you for outing Hayden. What a terrible person they are. Anyway, Hayden had nude pictures of you on his phone. Oh, imagine hearing that from your boyfriend. Oh, it's awful. I wasn't going to accuse. I just wanted to tell her and see how she would react. She had a very confused look on her face, but the one where you say, what? Really sternly. I explained to her all that went down with Hayden and me. She was so angry, almost as much as I was. She looked like she wanted to cry, and that made me want to cry. She kept asking where he was and what happened. I told her I deleted the picture off his phone when I had it, and I kicked him out. She was asking if he had any others. I told her what he told me. She doesn't believe that to be the truth though. Also, if there were legal repercussions for what he did, and I told her we would check it out. Yeah, surely there are. Secondly, I wanted to be open and honest with her. I didn't want to hide anything. I explained what happened over the past day and a half about the first time seeing it and being worried because I recognized it but wasn't 100% it was her, and how I started getting really anxious, worried that something went wrong in our marriage. I forgot that actually you're married, goodness me, and that I drove her away, and all these fears. She sat close to me and we held each other. I was in tears over this emotional roller coaster. I was so stressed, worried, sad, and angry at the same time that it all started coming out. She held me really tight and told me I was a good husband and reassured me that I was good after a bunch of bad stuff that had gone down in our past. She could tell I was so worried and hurt, and she was just there for me. We both just needed to cry, I guess. It's cathartic and really helped. I don't know what I would do without that woman. I love her to death. I was really tired, and after our breakdowns, we didn't feel much like doing anything, so we laid down most of the day talking about what we're going to do to fix our situation. I went over to Hayden's ex's house, and I asked her why she kicked him out, and explained the situation with him having a picture of my wife on his phone. Well, it turns out the mother effer cheated on her. So going back to what I said when OP originally said, I don't think it was for anything though, as in Hayden's ex kicking him out. Yeah, that was definitely a red flag and obviously wasn't the case. Anyway, let's continue. I was disgusted. I never expected him to do that, but after what went on, it didn't hit me as hard as I thought it would. She was pretty disgusted with Hayden's behavior and told me a lot of stuff I never knew about him. It was really uncomfortable to hear, but she needed to vent. I went to a law office close to us and asked around about the legal repercussions of stealing someone's photos. They gave me a number of different options that I'm going to bring up with my wife. The biggest one that I see working is a lawsuit. When I got home, my wife showed me a bunch of texts she received from Hayden. He sent me a few that I ignored. He was more than likely drunk because the text was so hard to understand. He kept apologizing and would send one every 10 minutes, and it was getting annoying. So she turned off her phone the rest of the day. Now, it was all quiet until he came to our door and started begging us to forgive him. I felt really bad. This dude was sorry, drunk, he probably didn't go to work, and he was tired. I told him he needed to leave us alone and we would get in touch with him later. He was okay with that. I'm not sure where he went, but I'm assuming it was a hotel or possibly another friend's house. Before you ask, he didn't drive to our apartment, he took an Uber. He started pestering us more, and this time it was getting a bit violent with threats and different things. This guy was acting like such a freaking scumbag. I tried to be nice, but now he's trying to play innocent while threatening us with some of his "I didn't do anything wrong, don't tell anyone or I'll F you up." Frick Hayden, seriously. He was really peeing me off. He wouldn't stop calling us. My wife was worried that he would come over and try and make good on his threats, so I stayed with her the entire day, mildly worried myself. We both decided we're going to press charges now because of how immature he's being and even threatening us. I thought we could handle this like adults, but now he's bringing it on himself. I want this all to be over. I'm tired and I want things done, but it'll come in time. Thank you guys for being there with me on this crazy journey. It really means a lot that strangers on the internet want to help me with my problems. I needed a place to vent and validate my suspicions and just feel like people had my back if it all went downhill. Thank you so much. You people mean a whole lot. Aside from the occasional death threats and just weird stuff, I appreciate the messages you would send me, so I felt like I wasn't alone. Thank you, Reddit. Also, one final thing, F Hayden. And there we go. Wow. Pretty mental story. Yeah, you 100% need to press charges. Unfortunately, we don't really have an update since then. And remember, this was 2016, January 2016, so now over 10 years ago. And I can't really find an update on this at all, which is a shame. But from the comments down below on this, OP has said that he stopped being threatening. This was like 11 days after the final update, and there's a lawyer working on their case. So hopefully something did happen. But yeah, I can't see, sadly, from OP's profile if anything happened afterwards. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. As I said, really hope there is some justice there, or was some justice to Hayden. One final message, F Hayden. Get that in the comments. I want to see the comments spammed with F Hayden. You have to say F, by the way. If you say the full swear word, YouTube won't post your comment. I don't think Spotify will either. Actually, Spotify might. Try it on Spotify if you want. YouTube definitely won't. But yeah, F Hayden. That's all I'm going to say.